A jar of cinnamon, just sitting in your spice rack. Ants marching across your patio. A tray of cuttings you're hoping will root before they rot. Those three things are more connected than you'd think. And by the end of this video, you'll know exactly why one small spoonful of cinnamon changes the outcome for all three. Not because of some miracle, because of actual chemistry. Stay with me because the second half of this video corrects a claim you've probably heard 100 times. And it's not the truth. Welcome back to Senior Greenhaven, where we cut through recycled gardening hacks and tell you what's actually backed by science. Today's spice? Cinnamon. And I'll be honest with you up front, this is one of those topics where half the claims online are solid, and the other half are wishful thinking dressed up as fact. Some gardeners use it to keep ants away from seedlings. Some swear it makes cuttings root faster. Some use it as a general-purpose fungus fighter. We're going to walk through each of those claims individually, test them against what cinnamon actually does chemically, and land on a method that's genuinely worth using, 1 tablespoon at a time. I'll also show you where this idea actually came from, because understanding that origin is the fastest way to see why half of it holds up and half of it doesn't. Cinnamon's reputation as a garden fix didn't start on social media. Long before viral gardening videos existed, propagators in greenhouses and nurseries used cinnamon as a cheap, accessible substitute when commercial fungicidal powders weren't available. It got passed down as a cutting protectant, which is an accurate description, not as a rooting stimulant, which is where the story picked up extra, unearned credit along the way. That's a pattern worth noticing. A real modest benefit. Protecting a cutting from rot. Got repeated so many times, in so many slightly different retellings, that it slowly turned into a bigger claim than the original one. By the time it reaches a viral video, helps prevent rot, has quietly become makes your cuttings root faster. And those are not the same statement. Keeping that origin in mind will help the rest of this video make sense, because we're not debunking cinnamon here. We're restoring the original, more modest claim it actually deserves, and showing you it's still genuinely worth using. Everything cinnamon does in your garden traces back to a single compound, cinnamaldehyde. It's the oil that gives cinnamon its smell, and it happens to have real, documented antifungal properties. Research on cinnamon oil has shown it can suppress the growth of certain mold and fungal pathogens, including the type responsible for damping off, a disease that kills young seedlings right at the soil line. That's the entire foundation of everything cinnamon is good for in the garden. One compound, one core property, it fights fungus. Mechanically, cinnamaldehyde works by disrupting the cell membranes of fungal spores, which keeps them from germinating and spreading in the first place. That's why it works best as a preventive barrier rather than a cure. It's much better at stopping a fungal colony from establishing than it is at wiping one out once it's already spread through a plant's tissue. This is the same reason a lot of natural fungicides get judged unfairly. People apply them after the damage is visible, see little improvement, and conclude the whole thing doesn't work, when really it was just applied at the wrong stage. Everything else cinnamon gets credit for, the ant deterrent, the rooting boost, the seedling protection, is really just this one antifungal property showing up in different contexts. Understanding that now will save you from a lot of confusion later, because it means you can predict what cinnamon will and won't do in situations we haven't even covered yet. Let's start with pests, because this is the claim with the most nuance. Cinnamon does not kill ants. It's not a poison, and it's not a contact insecticide. What it does is interfere with the scent trail ants use to navigate. A strong-smelling barrier like cinnamon can disrupt that trail enough to redirect them elsewhere. Don't make the mistake of thinking this solves an infestation. If ants have already established a colony nearby, a line of cinnamon is a speed bump, not a roadblock. It works best as a deterrent around vulnerable areas. A seedling tray, a container garden, the base of a plant you don't want disturbed, rather than a solution to an existing colony problem. There's also a secondary pest benefit worth mentioning. Fungus gnats, the tiny flies that hover around overly moist potting soil, lay eggs in fungal growth on the soil surface. Since cinnamon suppresses that fungal growth, it can indirectly reduce gnat populations too. Not by killing the gnats, by starving out the fungus they depend on for their larvae. This is actually where I've had my own best results with cinnamon. Not with ants outdoors, but with an indoor seed starting setup that kept attracting gnats every spring. Dusting the soil surface with a light layer of cinnamon, alongside letting the top inch dry out between waterings, cut the gnat population down noticeably within about a week. Neither change alone did as much as the two combined. What cinnamon won't touch: aphids, slugs, snails, beetles, or caterpillars. These pests aren't relying on scent trails or fungal food sources the way ants and gnats are, so cinnamon has no meaningful effect on them. If that's your actual pest problem, this hack isn't going to help, no matter how much of it you use. Now here's the claim that gets repeated more than any other, and it's the one most in need of a fact check: cinnamon as a natural rooting hormone. Rooting hormone products work because they contain auxins, actual plant hormones that trigger a cutting to grow new roots. Cinnamon contains 0 auxins, none. So the idea that dusting a cutting in cinnamon activates faster rooting the way a commercial powder does simply isn't supported by the chemistry. So why does this myth persist? Because gardeners really do see better outcomes with cinnamon-treated cuttings. Just not for the reason they think. The improvement comes from disease prevention, not hormonal stimulation. A fresh cutting is vulnerable to rot and fungal infection at the cut site before roots ever form. Cinnamon's antifungal property protects that vulnerable window, which means more cuttings survive long enough to root on their own. Same visible result. A higher success rate, completely different mechanism. Prevention, not acceleration. If your goal is genuinely faster rooting, cinnamon isn't the tool. If your goal is fewer cuttings dying from rot before they get the chance to root, that's exactly what cinnamon is good at. Here's a useful way to think about the difference. A commercial rooting hormone actively tells the plant, start growing roots now. Cinnamon does nothing of the sort. It simply removes one of the biggest reasons a cutting fails before it gets the chance to root on its own timeline. If you want both benefits, some experienced propagators actually use rooting hormone and cinnamon together. Dip in the hormone first, then a very light dusting of cinnamon over that for both the active trigger and the protective barrier. That combination isn't necessary for easy-to-root plants like pothos or coleus, but it can genuinely help with slower, more rot-prone cuttings like hydrangea or roses. Hey, quick pause right here. If this is helping you separate fact from fiction, smash that like button. It genuinely helps this video reach more gardeners who are tired of hacks that don't hold up. Let me know in the comments, were you using cinnamon for pests, for cuttings, or both? I read everyone. We've still got the correct method, the mistakes that quietly undermine this hack, and where cinnamon really earns its place coming up. Keep watching. Here's how to actually use your 1 tablespoon, split by purpose. For cuttings, dip the cut end in water, then lightly press it into a small dish of ground cinnamon. Just enough to coat it, not bury it. Tap off any excess before planting. A thick clump of cinnamon can actually block moisture absorption at the cut site, which works against you rather than for you. For pest deterrence, Sprinkle a thin, visible line of cinnamon along an ant trail, or lightly dust the surface of seedling soil. 1 tablespoon covers more ground than you'd expect. This isn't a more is better situation. Both applications share one weakness: water. Rain or regular watering will wash cinnamon away and neutralize its effect, so plan on reapplying every few days if you're using it for ongoing pest deterrence. A third use worth mentioning: seedling trays. Rather than treating individual cuttings, a very light dusting across the entire soil surface of a seed-starting tray gives you broad protection against damping off across dozens of seedlings at once for less than a teaspoon of cinnamon total. This is arguably where cinnamon gives you the best return for the least effort, since one tray-wide application protects an entire batch rather than one cutting at a time. First, stale cinnamon. Cinnamaldehyde degrades over time once cinnamon is ground and exposed to air. A jar that's been open for a year or more will be noticeably weaker than fresh cinnamon. Check the smell. If it's faint, it's already lost potency. Second, over-application on cuttings. This bears repeating because it's the single most common way this hack backfires. A heavy coating doesn't mean stronger protection. It means blocked water uptake and a stressed cutting. Third, using cinnamon as damage control rather than prevention. If a cutting is already soft, discolored, or showing signs of rot, cinnamon won't reverse that. It's a preventive measure, applied at the moment of the cut, not a treatment for an existing problem. To be fair to cinnamon, because credibility means giving credit where it's due, this is a case where a viral gardening hack is mostly grounded in real science. The antifungal property is well documented. The indirect rooting benefit is real, even if the popular explanation for it is wrong. The ant deterrent effect works within its limits, where cinnamon belongs, protecting fresh cuttings from rot, discouraging minor ant activity near vulnerable plants, and adding a layer of prevention to seedling trays prone to damping off. Where it doesn't belong, as a stand-in for actual pest control on an established infestation, as a substitute for a real rooting hormone if speed is genuinely your goal, or on plants and pests it was never suited for in the first place, like slugs or aphids. That middle ground is really the honest takeaway here. Cinnamon isn't a miracle, and it isn't a myth. It's a narrow, well-understood tool that does one thing: fight fungus extremely well. And everything it's known for in the garden flows from that single property. Pair cinnamon with clean technique. Sharp, sanitized shears for cuttings will do more for your success rate than cinnamon alone ever could. Keep your cinnamon fresh and sealed between uses. And reapply after watering if you're using it as an ongoing pest deterrent, since a one-time application won't last. If you want to actually verify any of this in your own garden, try a simple side-by-side. Treat half your cuttings with cinnamon and leave the other half untreated. Track which ones survive to rooting. That's a more honest test than trusting any single video, including this one. So here's where cinnamon really stands. It's not a rooting hormone, and it's not going to eliminate an ant colony. But it is a genuine science-backed antifungal that protects cuttings from rot and discourages minor pest activity. And that's a real, useful tool, even if it's a more modest one than the internet usually claims. 1 tablespoon, used correctly for the right problem, is all it takes to put this hack to work in your own garden. Have you tried cinnamon in your garden? For cuttings? For pests? Or both? Tell me what you noticed in the comments. If this helped you tell fact from fiction, hit like, subscribe, and turn on notifications for the next honest gardening video from Senior Green Haven. Until next time, keep growing, keep learning, and remember, The best garden is built on good information, not internet myths.